almost falls down. Throws to the end zone. Owen! Owen! Owen!
It will change, and I'm not trying to tell you something. It's going to change. It's not like that. Okay, but I want you to understand where I'm coming from. It will change. And it will change because they wanted to change, not because of me. It will change because they want to be champions.
Smith in the gun, the throw on his left hip. Third down, Alex takes the snap. Alex looking, got it, post, and it's good! Touchdown, 49! Vernon Davis with the play of his life. It all comes to this fourth down. 4th and 4 at the San Francisco 10. Ryan in a shotgun. Rodgers to his left. 3 receivers right. Ryan takes the snap. Looking, pressure, throws middle. Broken up by Navarro Bowman. And the 49ers silence the house.
Oh, I mean, so like all the pundits, have they been questioned about this performance of Jimmy Garoppolo? The guys that said last week that he was going to be cut before season's end and Kirk Cousins is going to be the starter. Have they had to answer for their crimes against humanity?
Kirk Cousins. We're just going to trade for him?
I don't know what they. I didn't say these things. That's what these people said. Yeah,
You read that Kirk Cousins was going to be our starter?
Next year.
Yeah, people have floated that theory.
That's amazing.
If Garoppolo has a down year and Cousins has a down year, that we're going to trade for...
Not even trade, just because we could all get rid of him for $4.7 million Garoppolo at the end of this year, like whatever, tax-free. And then we're going to somehow, I don't know how the plan to get Cousins was. I don't know what exactly that was, but it's...
Whoever wrote that should be fired immediately.
Dude, I didn't make this up.
That's so insane.
Dude, I'm out there, but I don't...
Like, first of all, if there was any chance, I got a feeling we would ride with Mullins.
You would think.
Like, it's cost us nothing.
I mean, I don't think it's that outrageous considering...
It's not like Kirk Cousins is like Drew Brees. Like,
Tell that to Kyle Shanahan, though.
if he felt that way, they would have got him.
He wanted him pretty bad.
There's no way on this planet that Kyle Shanahan sees Kirk Cousins like Drew Brees.
I don't know.
Or we would not have gotten Jimmy Garoppolo, and we would have gotten
Do you
Kyle.
remember what Lynch said last year? When he said after the Garoppolo trade went down, Kyle was actually kind of a little bit bummed. Because he kind of had his heart set on Cousins, but they had to make the...
That's not the same as seeing him like Drew Brees, though. That's a bit extreme.
No, but...
Of course he was bummed, because he drafted him, and he developed him, and it was his guy. I mean,
I don't think it's that unreasonable.
I think it's completely fucking insane to think
not-
that he was
definitely
ever
not what
going
I
to be on our
want.
team.
I would never. I would be fucking pretty pissed.
Yeah,
Of course.
no way.
I fell in love with Garoppolo. I want to fuck him.
But anyway, I can't believe anyone even fucking
Well, listen,
suggested that insanity.
you know I didn't make it up, bub. I'm fucked up, but same way
You know what we did make up?
Same way I didn't fucking take that cord. I don't know.
Episode 3 of 4 within a 3-day time period. I don't think this has ever happened.
Yeah, fuck it.
We're like the team. What are they playing? 3 games in 10 days?
Yeah. We had a short turnaround.
We pump it out.
Yeah, we do.
All right. So, just go around the room. Who watched the game?
I watched the first half.
Always a valid question when it comes to preseason.
I watched I watched everything but the Garoppolo's last drive.
Okay.
So I watched 90% of the first half. I had to go pick baby up.
All right.
She was at the party dancing, so I had to go pick her up.
You gonna go offense or defense first, Steven?
Whatever you want. Tell me how you like it.
I think we're gonna be a defense first team this year.
Mm-hmm.
So let's start with the offense.
It's fair point. I concur though.
So everybody's holding their breath, hoping that Jimmy doesn't throw an interception on every single throw. But opening series, we got to a 3rd and 7, and Jimmy and Pettis clearly were not on the same page. Jimmy throws a ball to an empty space, and it would have been the end of our drive. We would have sent out the punter, but Kansas City committed a penalty, giving us a first down. When that happened, Jimmy was like telling Dante Pettis, like, get the fuck over here,
Yeah,
because you are not
you were
doing.
supposed to come back. Yeah.
Yeah, you are like clearly not doing the right thing right now.
Did you see that hold?
On Dante.
No, the hold. It wasn't on him. It was on Dwelly, I think.
Yes.
The guy had 2 handfuls of jerseys.
Yes.
Like, what do you even... Like, one, maybe you might sneak away with it, but
Right.
he literally had 2 hands on his jersey like handlebars. And
I
he
know.
was holding on.
It's a 3rd and
water
7.
skiing behind him.
It's a 3rd and
What are you
7. We're
doing?
like 65 yards from scoring. Like, it's not like that's a... And
it was like a tight end and not George Kittle. Like, he wasn't running the field. Like,
Right.
It was so weird. And Tyreek Hill's about to run past you. Okay, hold him.
Yeah.
He's going to score a touchdown.
Yeah.
I got something here.
What you got?
Shanahan was asked on Sunday why Pettis remained in Saturday night's game into the fourth quarter when other starters were out. He said, "I believe he needed to be. He's still trying to earn a role on this team and is still showing what he's capable of doing consistently." Sounds a bit sketchy for the black guy with
After
the blue
watching
hair.
him play football, I'm wholly positive he'll never be a number 1. He's not ever going to be a number 1. He's not a dog. He's not hungry. He's not going to go up and fight for a ball. He will knock people out of their shoes with his moves. He'll burn a guy. He'll make a cut that drops someone to their knees. But he is not a guy that when you throw the ball up in the air, he's going to go fight for that ball. It's not him.
I'm not ready to say that yet.
I've seen it. Not him. Not his game.
Here's what I think about him. I'm a big fan, obviously, because he's a weird dude. But if he ever suffers an ACL, an Achilles, that's it. He'll never come back from that because his strength is in those, in everything that is determined by. So,
To me, he's a guy that catches a ball on the sideline, turns up field to run, sees a defender coming, and steps out of bounds.
I don't know. I've seen him block downfield aggressively.
That's not the same as getting
No,
blasted.
but
I mean,
it's not. But
He's soft.
He's a different kind of player. I mean, Tyreek Hill is a number 1, but he's a different kind of number 1 than Julio Jones. He
fair.
thrives in other areas. I think that what Pettis does, he does really well. He just hasn't found that consistent rhythm, hasn't found his groove yet. And I think he could get there. He's never going to be like your Julio Jones, AJ Green type of player. And he's never going to be your Tyreek Hill type of player either, which leaves me to think, like, what kind of player is he going to be? Like, is it like this, like, new kind of player that we've never seen before? Because when I watch Dante Pettis play football, he looks like a player that I've never seen before. Just the way he moves, the way he runs, the way he bends his body. Like, I've always called him Gumby. Like, the way he can contort himself and actually smoke defenders to the corner without looking like he's running that fast is kind of mind-blowing to me. So I cannot rule him out from being a very solid contributor for the team or even being a number 1. But I think that the tough love that is going on is what, I mean, if that's what Kyle thinks is going to bring out the best in him, then so be it. It's if it's like a sink or swim type of situation, some people need that.
Yeah, I don't think that is going to pull it out of him because I don't see emotion in him. I don't see on any end of it. I don't see high emotion when things are well. I don't see negative emotion when things are bad. And there's a benefit to that. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
There's a benefit to not having an emotional breakdown in the middle of a play. But I think that there's other receivers on this team that are in line to be a number 1 before he would be. In my opinion.
It's been reported throughout the entire training camp that out of all the receivers, Dante Pettis has the least amount of rapport with Jimmy than anybody. Than, like, who's bottom of the rock. Like, Kendrick Bourne has better rapport with Jimmy than Dante does. And I think that you've seen that in the games too, like miscommunication and
because he turned on with Mullins at the end of last year.
He did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there's any chance he's not on this team or on this roster. I think that's crazy talk.
Yeah.
But I think when Shanahan says he's trying to earn a spot, I think he means earn a starting spot because I think everybody has him and Marquise set up as the 2 starting wide receivers.
Yeah.
And I don't know that that's gonna last long.
Yeah.
That's all.
Where was
I think he'll be a contributing.
where was Hurd?
he was out. He had back tightness.
I think he'll be a contributing receiver on this receiving core. I think he's going to have good numbers and play good games. I just don't see him as like the go-to number 1 guy.
Right.
Like when a team is scheming for us, they're not going to be like, that's the thing. It's still going to be George Kittle, obviously, but I don't think he's ever going to be the one where they're like, that, take him away, we'll worry about the rest.
I totally see what you're saying. I get what you're saying. I don't disagree with it. I'm just not ready to go there with you yet.
That's fair. It's early.
Early on, Tevin Coleman has a difficult time finding space. The offensive line actually improved in pass blocking this week, but the run blocking didn't seem to be there until Matt Breida showed up, and I'm not sure if that has something to do with it. That Matt Breida looked so much better than Tevin Coleman in this past game.
Fuck yeah, he did. Braida's the top.
That's the benefit of having both of them.
Yeah, one
Because
of them could
last
have an
game
off
Coleman
week.
looked better,
Yeah,
and it could be their style matches up better with whichever defense. Maybe that's why they look better.
Yeah,
You know,
not good-
maybe Coleman was better against the Broncos defense, and Breida's better against their defense, or fresh.
So coming into this game, we're all holding our breath to see Jimmy play because, yeah, we all want to shrug off last week and say that it was nothing. But deep down, we're all a little bit. It's hard to not be a little bit concerned.
You want to feel better.
You want to feel better about yourself. So he looked a little shaky early on. The balls he was throwing, he threw 2 balls, inaccurate balls that were both behind the receivers, Kendrick Bourne and Marquise Goodwin. Kendrick Bourne would just so happen to be able to reach back and catch it to be able to convert it, and Marquise, why can't I talk? Marquise Goodwin could not. So it's like those two balls back to back. Could I say anything worse right now? 2 balls.
You want me to read it?
No.
Okay.
2 balls back to back on Steve's face.
Yeah, no, it wasn't very. It didn't
and
really
forth.
leave me feeling that great until he ended up coming out to, in his second series. Ended up looking a lot better. But after that first series, I was like, well, it wasn't a train wreck, but it wasn't that great either.
That first series is what you wanted to see when he first came back after not playing
Yeah,
for so long.
yeah.
Like, okay, I see where the rust is.
Yeah.
But it was like, I need a little more. And then second series, put everything to rest.
And I think that this game exemplifies what everybody was trying to talk about last week. Is like, yeah, he looked like dog shit for 6 throws, but you don't have a chance to get into a rhythm and set up the offense. And Kyle said that repeatedly, that when you get into a rhythm as an offense, you can set up play action. You could set shit up for later on that helps the quarterback succeed.
You still had
Especially what Shanahan does.
Yeah. Everybody's saying
That's his whole game.
Yeah. Like, you cannot say like a player looked like shit for 6 throws when you haven't even gotten a chance to get into the game yet.
he had a ball batted as well, right? In that first series.
He did.
did.
Yeah, he did. I'm like, oh, this is going to be a theme all year, huh?
Yeah.
It's kind of like when someone says that a player's headed for Canton after they've only played in 10 football games.
It was a 4th and 1, and Shanahan calls for a pass play, and it ended up getting batted down. But
Do we want to address the Andrew Luck situation?
that sounds more like an episode 2 thing.
I was shocked by that.
Yeah. Episode 2, Joe. Get with it.
Sorry. It just came to my mind. I thought about it.
So, speaking of players trying to make the team, Kendrick Bourne with a false start penalty on the second series. You cannot be doing that when you're trying to make this team and you're barely hanging on.
And the penalties were way better this week, except that one.
Except that one. A false start by a wide receiver,
Brutal.
I cannot stand that shit. Like, I can.
What do you have to do to get that?
You pretty much have to jump over the line at like a second early.
Yeah, you know.
Well, if you flinch and you cause movement from the other side, it could be considered a false start. But if the cornerback is playing 10 yards back from you, they're not going to move if you just flinch a little bit. They're only going to do that if they're in like press coverage or something. But he literally jumped over the line like a second early.
I always thought that was weird, how the defense can go over the line as long as they're back before the snap. But if they draw the offense off, then it's a penalty on the defense.
Yeah. Well, as an offense, you have absolutely no excuse because you know the
Yeah.
the
And
call.
it just always was weird to me that the fact that what makes it legal or illegal is something the other team does.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem right to me. Like if I should be able to do something or not able to do it. Like that's it. Like as a defensive player, I either should be able to go into the neutral zone or not able to go into the neutral zone.
Mm-hmm.
Not if I go in and the other team moves, then it's a
Is
penalty.
that when it
and that's why
becomes
they
a-
always stand up like, oh.
Yeah.
That's
Like
when,
that-
that's when it becomes a neutral zone infraction.
Yes.
Yeah. Which is a joke.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Like if they don't move, then it's not. It's okay.
then it's nothing.
Like how does that make any
Because
sense?
because you know I've always seen them like sometimes they go over and then get back and nothing happens
yeah,
and you're
it's
just
because
like
nobody moved.
I just thought it was
When
like,
that happens, it's usually a free play for the quarterback.
I thought it was referee
If it's
discrepancy.
offsides, if he's not back before the ball snapped,
You're right.
he's got to
Yeah,
be there
that's
when the
what
ball
I'm saying.
snapped. And then encroachment is if you like touch somebody or get through.
Yeah, got you.
Before the, but I don't like the other team. Oh, that's why they always stand up if the other side moves.
What kind of word is encroachment anyway? Like, get the fuck out of here. Encroachment. Fuck you.
That's like a term you use if you're an old Italian guy and your neighbor is putting something on your lawn. You're encroaching on my property.
Yeah.
Encroaching. That's an old Italian guy property line dispute word.
My father will be involved in many of those.
Oh yeah, he's for
in-
sure
with
someone
his
that
new neighbors.
he would definitely charge someone with encroachment.
Like he's lived next to all his neighbors for 30 years, so it's good. Like that, it's good.
And I bet he's a high encroachment offender. Like I bet he's the type that would go on the neighbor's lawn a lot.
Do you know what's crazy? He's not that bad, but the neighbor next to him is so ignorant the other way with it, and he's always just been forced to deal with it. Like this guy was such an asshole.
Big time encroacher.
Yeah, like one time my father was the best man in a Puerto Rican wedding. It was a weird thing.
Puerto Rican wedding. What's different about a Puerto Rican wedding, Joe?
Well, no, there was only Puerto Ricans involved in the wedding, and then my father. It was
So
fucking-
like what? Like your wedding was that? Would that be an Italian wedding?
No, it'd probably be like your standard white people wedding. I mean, I guess it could, Italian almost flies because we are primarily both Italian, So yeah, that might. I mean, I guess. But,
Just when I
Italian-American.
hear a term like Puerto Rican wedding, I think that there's like must be a different ceremony or like a whole different thing.
Right.
No,
You just
no,
meant
no.
there's Puerto Rican people at a wedding.
Yeah, but I just want to hold on. I'm gonna
You just wanted to be racist.
call it racist, but whatever. But when you close your eyes and think about Puerto Rican wedding, that's exactly what this was. And then my father.
Yeah, it's more of a sound thing than a visual.
Well, let me give you a visual. I know we have things to do, but just stand by.
6 hours.
You know what's gonna be great next week when we have nothing to talk about? We have no stories.
Yep.
White tuxedos
Oh,
with
okay.
with
Alright.
red ties type of shit.
I like that.
So regardless, they have the rehearsal dinner at my father's house. Now it's not like my father lives in a mansion by any means. He has like a modest home in a middle class neighborhood. But for said Puerto Ricans, they were gracious enough to have their rehearsal dinner on my father's back porch, and it was awesome. I tended bar. It was phenomenal. But this encroaching cocksucking neighbor, what he did was he had a branch fall in his yard.
A branch encroached on his yard.
Encroaching cocksucker neighbor.
Yeah, a branch had fallen
There's
out.
your episode title. Encroaching cocksuckers. Write that down.
A branch fell out of my father's tree into this man's yard. So he determined that during appetizers was the best time to handle this situation. And it's not like he just went out there silently and dragged said branch around the other side of his property and cut it with a handsaw. No. He got his riding lawnmower loaded and hold on, rigged up the trailer, tied down the chainsaw to the trailer, drove it around the yard, backed it in, pulled it up, backed it in, pulled it, lawnmower and chainsaw running the entire time. Gets out, leaves the lawnmower running while he cuts this into more than manageable pieces. Like, come on,
Why did you leave the mower running?
be a dick.
Isn't it a key start? That's amazing.
I don't know what it was. There was something running the whole time, and it sounded like a dirt bike. To be
That's
completely honest
amazing.
with you.
Because if I have a pull start engine, I'll leave it running while I do some stuff.
Yeah.
But a key start, come on.
Yeah.
No, oh yeah, no.
Oh.
But there was also 18 people dressed in like a business casual atmosphere, having like a candle lit fucking surfing turf,
What
30 feet from him.
What race was the neighbor? What race is the neighbor?
White, shitty white, the worst white.
Not a fan of Puerto Ricans, I'm guessing.
No, not a fan of me. Probably thought it had something to do. See, here's what happened with me and him. When I was like 10,
Here it comes. You just gotta wait for it, boys. It's there. The nugget's there. You just gotta keep digging and sifting.
I told his wife that
See? There's no way this isn't gonna be worth waiting for.
stand by. I told his wife during the day, like 2 p.m. on a Tuesday, that she and the daughters were nothing but fat pigs. Which was pretty shitty, apparently, because they were definitely overweight.
It's an encroaching statement.
They all struggled with weight, still do to this day. So he handled this by grabbing me extremely hard by the side of the arm and dragging me into his shed. And he shook the whole time in anger. And he put a sword, like he pulled a sword out. And then he realized the chaos that he was about to unleash on me. And I wasn't backing down, but I was also terrified. He then gave me a pocket knife in an attempt to smooth this over. So I told my parents, and they thought I was completely full of shit and made a joke out of it and called him the axe murderer. Like, yeah.
I gotta tell you, I kind of like the neighbor more than you in this story.
Did he have the sword on his back?
Like, if some fucking shitty neighbor's kid called my wife and daughters fat,
Yeah.
I don't know that I could stop myself from dragging him by the arm into a shed and threatening him with a sword if I had one. Right?
Was the sword-
Tell me you couldn't picture yourself doing that.
It would be better if he was wearing it.
I mean,
I don't know.
I
where
probably
it-
wouldn't
but
use
it
a
was-
sword, but that's probably all he had.
I remember it specifically had like a pirate cover on the handle. You know, like like what's that called? Like I don't know.
Scimitar?
Whatever it is, like it had a hand
I
guard.
mean, he's got a chainsaw. He could have just used that.
yeah, like so that always played. Like my parents like secretly
That's
laughed, like, "Oh,
incredible.
the fucking axe murderer's at it again," you know. Yeah. So
I mean, sword wouldn't have been my move, but threatening, I might have done that if I was him.
yeah, but I mean, what did it really change? Nothing. I just kept calling his daughters fat until I fucking moved away.
I understand, but it's
Here I am. Here I am now. Fucking nearly 40 years later, still
I'm just
calling his
saying-
daughters fat.
I'm just saying I'd like to back off on calling him an encroaching cocksucker. I'm starting to like him. That's all.
No,
and
you-
if I'll go one step further. If I was a guy and my neighbor's kid called my wife and daughters fat pigs, and I threatened him in a shed with a sword, and I thought he was having some fancy party on the deck, I might take a chainsaw and a lawnmower and cut the tree down at that exact moment and make as much noise as possible. That's all.
Yeah.
It's cool because it's
I
not
love
like
that he grabbed
yo,
you
if-
by the arm.
like, and I remember it like clear as day. Right now, I could see it in the shed. I remember
mean,
the lighting, everything.
A neighbor grabs a young man by the arm and drags him into a shed. It could be much worse, Joe.
Yeah, I guess I got away unscathed. But I mean, it's not like he really got the best of really like life living next to me. I mean, come on.
Yeah, it couldn't have been fun.
There was the time that my sister had a party and I convinced like 50 band nerds to go in his pool asshole naked. But I was really the only one asshole naked. And then my father came over and was yelling at me and I was just asshole naked. And he's yelling at me in front of like 50 people. Like, it was so good.
You ever heard that
So
term
you
before,
started
Steve?
encroaching.
Asshole naked?
Never.
It's kind of like butt naked, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Much more aggressive.
Yeah, I've never heard that one.
Spread.
Yeah. You have to actually hold your cheeks open in that one. What is asshole naked? It's
Asshole
like
na-
butt naked, but you actually spread your cheeks and walk around.
No. Asshole naked. I have the definition. Asshole naked is when you're doing something that you otherwise should be doing clothed, but you're doing it naked. You know,
Okay.
like if I was cooking, you could describe me as asshole naked. If I was cooking naked, you know. So okay, Steve, I know you got to get back.
Let's just end this one.
We didn't even get to the game.
I know.
It's only 21.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I told one story. Take it easy. It's the off season.
You know what that's for. Encroaching cocksuckers.
Steve, you're encroaching my fucking style right now.
It's like, how do I get back into this after that 10-minute detour?
Oh,
It's not about a penalty, right?
Steve,
Yeah, I don't even know where the hell I was.
Steve, I'm throwing a flag on you right now.
Yeah, so Jimmy and Richie James,
Go for it. He had a nice catch.
they're showing some good chemistry out there. Those two seem to make very, very good music together.
that deep pass, that was the first one where I was like, okay,
Yes.
here we go.
And the double
I
move.
mean, that was a fucking dime.
Did you see the double move
Yeah.
that he put on the defender to get open? Mm-hmm. If he does not make the team,
And if he didn't stumble at the catch, he's gone. He's to the house. When he caught it, he made that move and then stumbled and fell. He was to the house if he didn't fall.
if Kendrick Bourne makes his team over Richie James,
No way.
I might just lose it.
There's no way. Just wide receiver plays, he's got him beat. And he does.
And he does returns.
So, there's no way. Kendrick Bourne was already, in my opinion, before this game, the receiver that was gone. And he just proved that was the right decision. And who's the other? There was three of them. It's Bourne, James, and
Trent Taylor, Jordan Matthews.
I think those guys are solid. Maybe Matthews. Maybe.
But anyway, I mean, in the beginning, I said, Jimmy looked a little shaky early on, but he didn't look as bad as he did the week before. And then the second drive, he had that play to Richie James, and then on the very next play was the 20-yard rainbow to Matt Breida for the touchdown. I mean, when a running back lays out like that, makes a diving catch.
Yo, do you think that
Don't
ball
see a lot
was,
of that.
Do you
Nope.
think that ball was meant for him? Because
Yes.
the other receiver was there too.
Oh, it was 100% meant for
all right.
him.
I didn't know. It was kind of
Oh,
weird.
It
yeah.
could have been more accurate for sure. I mean,
You don't see many people that are not wide receivers lay out like that and catch a football.
It was yeah. It was a. It was. I was like, ooh.
That's a man who has heard people say that that's not his strength, and that's the offense he plays in, and worked on it.
He did.
He's obviously
Year
been
one,
working on
not
it.
that great of a receiver. Year three, he's becoming one, and that was a great catch by Matt Breida. Could have been a better throw by Jimmy, but that play, if you actually watch it develop from bird's eye view, that was all Kyle Shanahan because Matt Breida was wide open because of the crossing route going the other way. Took Matt Breida's defender with him. It confused him. That's a Shanahan touchdown. A great catch by Breida. Should have been a better throw by Jimmy, but made it work.
Got 7, Poppy. Was it in the red zone? How far was it? How long was it?
20 yard, 21 yard. So again,
20 and a
just
third.
outside of the red zone.
20 and a third.
Staley had a few rocky moments, but I mean,
He had also though a downfield block on like a run or like a screen.
Yes.
It was nice.
but yeah, he's definitely starting to show his age a little bit. I don't think that we should just pencil him in as an all-pro left tackle anymore. I think those days might be over, but I think he's just going to be solid. I mean, Frank Clark is going to make a lot of people look bad.
I also
Well, that's the problem. He's going to be going up against a lot of their guys.
He's going to be going up against a lot of Frank Clarks, but
the other thing is he's not gonna. I don't think bring the heat in the preseason. He's also gonna,
yeah, true.
You know what I mean?
He's been around long enough.
You
Yeah,
know,
except that if Frank Clark is coming after your quarterback, he needs to put on the heat.
Yes.
No matter what day it is or where it is or what's
Agreed.
going on.
Agreed.
And that's
But
another good point.
I think we will, for whatever it's worth. I think we'll see a better Joe Staley in the regular season. That's my opinion. I could be wrong.
I'm noticing a good connection between Jimmy and Deebo Samuel too. He seems to have a good feel for zone coverage where he can squat in open spaces and find open spaces. Usually you don't acquire that until you're in the league for a few years, so I'm liking what I'm seeing from him. We already talked about Matt Breida clearly outplaying Tevin Coleman in this one. I mean, he was finding creases consistently in getting 5+ yards on almost every single rush where Coleman was getting bottled up. So there's
Yeah, second and 10, Breida gets 7 to make a 3rd and 3.
Yes.
Can't ask for more than that.
So there was a big 3rd down in the red zone. Jimmy throws a perfect ball to backup tight end Ross Dwelly, who cannot bring it in. It was tight coverage, but it hit him in the hands. He should have caught it. And although it was a negative play because we didn't convert and we had to settle for a field goal, what was the most encouraging for me on this play is that if you watch Jimmy back in the pocket, he makes it to his 3rd progression, which was Ross Dwelly, and it ended up being the right decision, a perfect throw, just couldn't be hauled in by the receiver. It would have been a conversion 1st down in the red zone.
I'll tell you what my biggest take from the game was. With Kittle, this offense is going to go.
Without Kittle, this offense is fucked. I think.
I disagree. I mean,
I
they moved the ball.
disagree. I think
They moved the ball.
Yeah, they moved the ball great.
And Dwelly is a major drop off from Kittle, and they moved the ball just fine.
Yeah, but with Kittle
Coming
it's-
off of an ACL, not playing as
It's-
much as he's played,
with-
Jimmy was moving that football.
Right, with Kittle, it's going to be complete, but it's not bad without him. It's not terrible. I think
And
you're
Kansas
giving-
City's defense is not.
Yeah,
a
that's
walk
what
in
I'm
the
saying.
park.
Yeah, you're
No,
you're,
They're
I
not
just-
top of the line either, but anymore. But
I think that without Kittle, our pass catching weapons are very inexperienced and uninspiring.
agree. I don't think we're nearly. I don't think it's. I think the drop off is.
Who's our best weapon after Kittle?
Breida? After what I saw, in every facet.
Non-running back. That's what I'm saying.
Of course, and I'm
Well,
saying
I think we want to see what the rookies have to offer.
the drop off is steep to me, but we're not fucked without. You said
Not
fucked.
Yeah, not
That's
fucked.
the only thing I'm disagreeing
With Jimmy,
we
you're
can
not
win
fucked.
games. We can win games without George Kittle.
Yeah.
We can win a lot of games with George Kittle.
Yes. Which cannot afford to lose that guy this year.
I couldn't agree
Again,
more.
he would have played if it was regular
Yeah.
season.
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm
Yeah.
not worried about his
Yeah.
current
He
situation.
played with like broken ribs last year and shit.
I'm not worried about his. Yeah, the only thing that's going to
And
take
laughed
him
about
off
it.
the field is an injury that would take anybody off the field.
Yeah, they won't let him on the field.
So Jimmy ends up getting the ball back with 2 minutes left, and it's actually a minute 45 left in the half, and he ends up getting us in field goal range. The big plays on that drive included a screen to Matt Breida and back-to-back catches by Ross Dwelly, who made up for that bad drop he had in the red zone the series prior. So it was good to see him bounce back.
Ross Dwelly.
Mullins gets in. He tries to hit an unbelievably wide open Jordan Matthews deep down the field and overthrows him. I mean, Jordan Matthews could literally
He's 6'3"
not
too. He's a
have
big
been
boy.
more open. I don't think there was a single defender within like 20 yards of him. But I think that in the regular season, Jordan Matthews dives for that ball. In the preseason, he
Yeah.
doesn't dive for that ball.
I don't know because his spot is not. I assume not locked in.
I don't know.
I got the roster. You want to hear the wide receivers?
Yeah, I definitely have a write-up on that.
A normal team takes what, 5, right?
6.
6 is normal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
5 or 6.
Okay.
5 or 6.
One guy usually does wide receiver and special teams.
So I'll start with who I assume is a lock.
Okay.
Marquise Goodwin,
1,
Dante Pettis,
2,
Deebo Samuel,
3,
Jalen Hurd,
4,
right? Those are all locks, we assume. We assume Trent Taylor.
5.
That's 5. Now we got one left.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got Kendrick Bourne.
Richie James and Jordan Matthews.
Yeah. And then you've got guys that aren't going to be on the team. Malik Henry, Chris Thompson.
So what I read, for whatever it's worth.
So Kendrick Bourne is out, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And now you're down to Jordan Matthews and Richie James.
And there was some talk.
Unless
You
put,
carry 7.
Unless you put Trent Taylor on IR designated to return in week 8.
Or carry 7.
Or carry 7, but
For a short period.
But they say Trent Taylor will be back maybe week 2.
Right.
maybe.
But sometimes you make the move to push
Yeah.
him out further so that you can keep both.
Right. For
Yeah.
sure.
And see what happens. Which you're either prolonging that decision and you're gonna have to make that decision anyway, or somebody gets hurt and you go, thank God we did that.
Yes.
I guess we shall see.
But yeah, Mullins actually opened up this game looking a little skittish, and then he ended up missing. After missing a wide open Jordan Matthews, he missed a wide open Deebo Samuel, overthrew it too high. But after those two, he rebounded really nicely with back-to-back throws to Jordan Matthews for a first down, and then a nice 22-yard gain after that. So I definitely like to see him rebound like that, and I like seeing Jordan Matthews actually doing something because we keep hearing about him having good practices. Haven't really seen it in the game so much, but I mean, he's a veteran. He's been around for 6 years, 5 or 6 years, so he just kind of knows how to play the game. Jeff Wilson, our running back, he ended up showing the same kind of power that we saw from him last year. He's definitely the most powerful back on the roster, in my opinion, by far, and it's not even close. Like, if you need somebody to get a tough 3 yards, send Jeff Wilson out there. The thing is that I don't know if he's going to make it. I don't know if that's enough to get you a roster spot on this team.
You think he looks the same as he did last year?
I think so. He was good last year. Jeff Wilson was good.
You know what makes that impressive?
What?
The fact that he put on 15 pounds.
He did? I didn't know that.
Muscle poppy.
Shanahan said when you can put on 15 pounds and look the same as you did before the 15 pounds,
Yeah.
that's a good equation for a running back.
And that's insane because on his first touchdown, he ends up bouncing a run to the outside for a 4-yard touchdown.
Yeah, Shanahan said he put on about 15 pounds and it doesn't look like he lost anything.
That's insane.
His cock gained 2 full pounds.
And then later
So,
on,
he's making a push.
he gets a touchdown bouncing it to the outside for a 4-yarder. And then later on, he gets a 7-yard touchdown up the middle.
Yeah.
And he ends up finding open creases up the middle.
He's definitely our runner that's going to put his head down and get through if you need a guy like that. The problem is we carry a fullback.
Yep.
That's hurting him.
Yes.
And then you've got Coleman, Breida, and Mostert.
And who the hell knows what McKinnon?
So what,
McKinnon's done.
what are we going to do?
D-O-N.
I mean, I would take...
If McKinnon gets...
You hold a gun
he's
to my
an
head, I
IR.
want Mostert over Jeff Wilson.
Of course. McKinnon is our candidate for IR until week 8.
Yeah.
Just because we don't need him, not because I don't know anything about the injury.
Right. But just to wrap up the offense, I mean, I've already talked about Richie James in this episode, and I just had to make another note of him. Later on in the game, he just makes another impressive grab from Mullins at the first down sticks. He stops on a dime to make the defender miss and then runs for another 10 yards. I don't think I've seen Kendrick Bourne do that once. Mm-hmm. Every single time Kendrick Bourne catches a fucking ball, he falls down. Mm-hmm. I don't think I've ever seen Kendrick Bourne run after the catch.
Okay. Not only was Rich James our leading receiver, he also caught everything that was targeted to him.
Yeah. He needs to stay.
Agreed.
Defense?
What the fuck was Jaquaski Tart doing on that fucking joke of a tackle attempt on that fucking touchdown?
I got a better question
What
for you.
a fucking clown.
What the fuck was Robert Saleh doing putting Solomon Thomas to guard Damian Williams, the running back?
Saw that.
That's how it all started.
Right, but that happens. That's what an offense's job is to do. Is to get the
Create
defense
mismatches.
and make that happen.
That mismatch-
And Jaquaski Tartt's job is to clean up the fucking mess, not tackle tackle the defender. He tackled Solomon Thomas, who was actually almost going to make a tackle, and completely fucking misses. Push him out of bounds, for fuck's sake. Funnel him towards the sideline. How do you miss that fucking tackle? And that your job is to play center field and not let people get past you. Fuck out of here. After last week's great game,
Amazing.
like, what the fuck?
I know. You want to see consistency from him.
Brutal.
This is his 5th year in the league, or 4th or 5th year. He's got to start being consistent.
That
Insane.
first series or two, it was rough going for sure. Because Mahomes, they came right the fuck down.
I will say the first thing I noticed from this defense this week, and you know what was different this week than any other week we've seen so far this year, is that Quan Alexander was out there. And that dude brings the energy. You could hear him through the TV. Literally screaming. Like, he's so clearly ecstatic that he's back out there. I think that his contract was criticized by a lot of people. The contract we gave him, given the caliber of player he is and the injury that he's coming off of. Like, he was always viewed as a really good linebacker, but not a great linebacker. And compound it with the fact that he tore his ACL. So us making him a top 5 paid linebacker was rightfully so criticized. But I think that he adds so much more value to a defense than just his individual play with the amount of energy he brings. I think it's like contagious energy.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the guy that we all wanted Reuben Foster to be. So we talked about Solomon Thomas almost making a tackle on that play where he shouldn't have been in that position to begin with. Solomon Thomas playing in the preseason, playoff level intensity.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
He's back. He's there.
don't you ever question that guy's effort. Since day one, we've been talking about Solomon Thomas for 3 years. Have you ever seen me not stand up for the effort that he brings on a weekly basis? That dude tries hard.
So you're marking out to Solomon Thomas now?
I've always marked out to his effort.
Did you make a donation to the Suicide Foundation?
No.
Then you don't really care.
So this is going to be a very telling year for him.
It's very, very hard to judge your defense when you're going against that offense as well. I mean, of all the offenses in the league, that's one of the scariest. And Mahomes was MVP last year, and all signs point that he's only going to get better.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous, first of all. And then Tyreek Hill, add all their weapons. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare offense. So it's tough to judge. So I have to just go on single scenarios, like Jaquaski Tartt just blowing that tackle.
Yeah, preseason
You
is
had
all about...
You had him there. All you had to do was tackle him,
Yeah.
and you didn't do that. That's all I can really judge, because I don't know enough to judge the scheme and all that bullshit.
Because we're not scheming.
Yeah.
That's the thing. We're 3-0 in the preseason. Have I brought that up a single time yet?
God, it scares me.
Like,
I hate
yeah.
it.
Don't you
better
wish we
lose
would
this
fucking
week.
lose
We
this week
better
or
fucking
something?
lose.
But
You know Mullins and Beathard are going to try to ball out whoever plays.
Of course.
Yeah.
But preseason is all about individual performance for me. I don't pay attention to, team effort. How is the defensive line playing together? I guess you could point to the offensive line playing as one unit, because that is the offensive line has been, always will be one heartbeat. You got to play together. It doesn't matter what kind of game it is. But we're not scheming. So it's so hard to fucking know how good your team is right now.
The same way you're not going to get a game plan, a real offensive game plan.
It's why it's really hard to say what Dante Pettis is going to end up being this year, because, well, is he getting schemed open in the preseason? Maybe. I don't know.
Probably not.
How about Jimmy Ward starting at slot?
Yeah, coming back
That's
from injury. I mean, he quietly actually had a pretty good game.
I was saying he had a good first half.
He forced an offensive pass interference penalty and had a pass defense on a 2nd and 4.
Oh,
Fuck.
Oh, we're back to that.
unfucking even in the preseason.
Some things
man.
never change,
No.
Joe.
Now, I'm going to tell you this. Listen to me. I want to talk about this right now. Mm-hmm. I'll accept it all in the regular season. This team goes to the playoffs, and that phone goes off. No, I'm smashing it on the spot.
What if your own phone goes off?
My phone won't go off.
But what if?
It's good for the goose. It's good for the gander, Steve.
Talk to my lawyer.
Meaning, if his phone goes off, I might smash it.
No.
Because he made the statement that if
No,
yours goes
you know
off,
what?
he's gonna.
If
he's
my
gonna
phone
smash
goes off in the playoffs, I'll smash my own goddamn phone. Think about that. Yeah. I'm bringing a hammer. We make it to the playoffs, bringing a hammer every week.
I was watching Shanahan, and he was talking about Jimmy starting in the slot. Mm-hmm. And he was, first of all, saying that at any given moment, Jimmy Ward is probably the number 1 or number 2 person at multiple positions on our defense.
Yeah.
Which is why
It's his biggest crux.
That's why they kept him.
It's a curse.
Why, yeah.
It's a blessing and a curse.
And he was saying that Tarvarius Moore has made a big push at safety, which is why Jimmy played corner, because Kwan's still out. So rather than put in a backup there and let Jimmy start at safety, he puts Jimmy there, and then him and Tarvarius, because he's all about putting the best team we have on the field. And so by putting Ward at slot corner, then you get more out there too. That's what he was saying.
You know what I would love to see? I would love to see Jimmy Ward have a few good games early on, and we trade him.
Right before he gets broken.
Yes, because
I don't know. Maybe the injury preseason gets it out of the way.
I have always been a Kwan Williams fan. I think he's a guy that doesn't get talked about enough, and DJ Reed is becoming like my new best friend. DJ Reed had a fantastic
Well, since he doesn't
game.
know you exist, it's more like a crush than a best friend.
Yeah, it's more like a crush. I really like what I'm seeing from DJ Reed.
You follow him on Instagram.
I do.
What's he got? What's he good? What's he about?
I don't know. He doesn't post that often. But, I mean, based on what I've seen, he is one of the stickiest defensive backs that I've seen on our team probably ever. Like, he practically lives in the wide receiver's back pocket. I never see any wide receiver get more than 2 or 3 yards of separation on him.
He was covered in semen.
He might be. But, yeah.
I don't think the window.
Let's talk about Armstead. He loops around multiple defenders to notch a sack, and what caused that to happen was Solomon Thomas getting a great push, and he was actually playing on the edge when he ended up getting a great push.
It was not Mahomes.
No, it wasn't. You're right. But whatever, a sack's a sack, right?
Not against fucking JT O'Sullivan or whoever they had back there.
Chad Henne.
There you go. I could have got Chad Henne down. Let's be for real.
So I don't think this is breaking news, but it just every single week it confirms that Akella Witherspoon is soft. He is soft. We talked about Kwaski Tart missing a tackle. Like Kwaski Tart went for a hit on a running back and he whiffed. Akella Witherspoon had a square shot on the running back, made it connect, and bounced off him like he was a fucking teddy bear.
Steve, he doesn't have the love for the game, maybe. maybe
Doesn't tweet enough about football.
Maybe his engine isn't burning, hot enough in the preseason.
That dude needs to show me a lot more because I just want Jason Verrett to get back. I want to see Jason Verrett play football again.
How about DeMontre Moore?
He looked good.
He's making a push, huh?
He had back-to-back plays. He had a tackle for a loss and then a sack.
He was like everywhere too.
Yep.
Well, suck me silly, Steve.
And he's wearing that 56.
Ooh.
So now we get into special teams.
Do you know DeMontre Moore's history?
No, I don't. Oh no! He was AAF, right?
Oh, he's got.
He led the AAF in sacks or something.
Well, first he was a 3rd round draft pick.
Giants.
Yes.
Okay, I knew that.
He was projected to be a top 10.
Oh no shit!
Projected to be a top 10 draft pick at the end of 2012, but had a bad showing at the combine. Lowest bench press among defensive linemen.
Weak.
Then he goes 3rd to the Giants.
3rd round.
Yeah, 3rd round. And the Giants waived him for violating team rules because he had an altercation with a fellow defensive lineman regarding headphones.
So he didn't even make it to his first season?
He recorded, let's see, he was drafted. No, he made it two seasons.
Okay, 2 seasons before that happened.
Yep. He recorded his first sack in his 2nd season in 2014. And then in December 2015, so another season, they waived him for a fight over headphones. They said it was one of several altercations he had with teammates during the 2015 season.
I think
Ready
he
for
might
this?
be my favorite player.
Oh, wait, it gets better. On December 14th, 2015, the Dolphins claimed him off waivers. and they released him May 2nd, 2016. May 9th, 2016, the Raiders signed him, and they released him on August 5th. On November 1st, 2016, the Seattle Seahawks signed him. He was put on the injured reserve list December 20th. On March 10th, 2017, the Cowboys signed him.
Has he been on every team in the league?
Then I don't know how they released him October 24th. Then on December 4th, the Raiders signed him again. Played 2 games, and then he was released by the Raiders in December 2018. And then
life as a fringe NFL player is a fucking bitch, huh?
January 10th, 2019, he signed with the San Diego Fleet of the AAF. Played with the team until the league folded, and considered one of the top defensive players in the league. 22 tackles, 7 sacks, and 1 fumble recovery.
And that's
Here
in
he
a
is.
6-game span?
And it doesn't say how.
That's pretty good.
And here he is back in the NFL with the San Francisco 49ers, making a push.
Yeah.
I'm tired.
Oh, he was
listening to
there.
that.
April 5th, we signed him, and then we waived him May 16th, and then re-signed him July 24th. So we had to waive and sign twice, too.
I'm straight up tired after
Wild,
hearing
huh?
that.
I was like, oh, the Giants, and then I was like, oh, and like 7 other fucking teams.
Uh-huh.
How crazy, huh?
All right, Steve, what do you got? Special teams?
Yeah, I got Dante Pettis muffing a punt inside our own 20.
They said.
no
Did you
good,
hear what the guy?
buddy.
Did you hear what the guy said though?
No.
It was a left-footed punter, and the ball had a crazy spin on it. For whatever it's worth.
Don't care.
Okay.
Soft.
I'll let that fester for a minute until I bring up probably the best note in the entire game, which was Mitch fucking Wishnowski booming like a 73-yard punt.
Yeah.
Coffin corner inside the Kansas City
Wait,
Chiefs
that ball-
3-yard line.
That landed inbounds.
Yes.
Oh, see, it
Just inside the line.
that's sketchy. That's dope.
Like, did you mean to do that? Like, it's so ridiculous that
That's what
there's
you
no
aim for.
way you did that on purpose.
That's what you aim for, but it's not reality. It's luck.
Yeah.
But
Well, I mean,
It going out of bounds at the 3 is insane, but the fact that you can kick the ball that far, like, seriously?
I mean, it's like, you hear kickers relate it to golf sometimes. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's crazy to drop it that close and that tight.
I'm just astounded that he can kick a ball that far.
Accurately.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
62.
Robbie Gold is money.
62 yards.
He's got Robbie Gold. Sometimes he'll have like some sketchy fucking 30-yarder that barely squeaks in, but like he just makes every single fucking kick. It doesn't matter if it goes right down the middle or if it's off. It's every time he makes it.
They're all
I think when
worth
you see
three.
those short ones I think it's tougher because you're not kicking it as steep maybe. So they got to get
Well, you
over
want
the
it to
line.
go higher.
To get over the line, I think I don't know. There's something
Further
about
away, you have a straighter. You need a straighter
that
kick.
Makes sense. That makes sense.
Close up, you can.
Yeah, that
it's
makes
like
sense.
a rainbow. But yeah, sometimes he'll have like a sketchy 25-yarder that barely squeaks in, and you're like, what? But it goes in. I can't remember the last time he missed a kick.
2 seasons ago. No. All right, you got it. We got anything else
Now
here?
wrap this shit up.
All right, we're going to wrap it up. So keep the emails coming. We appreciate it. Goldbloodedpodcast@gmail.com. Hit us on the Patreon. Steve, hit it.
Patreon.com/Goldblooded Podcast. So yeah, we're doing our fucking job. 4 episodes in a 3-day time span.
Cunts. So I was giving somebody like a website address the other day, and I hit them with the backsplash, and they were like, "What?" Instagram, Gold Blooded Podcast. Check us out. Go fuck yourselves. Bye bye.